Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be working on the LMTV, but I want to share a little story with you guys. A couple weeks ago when I drove the truck out to pick up my new bike, it was about 80 degrees that day, and I hadn't driven the truck for quite some time. And I noticed that the fan clutch was turning on at a different temperature than it normally did. So normally it would turn on around 200, 205, stay on till about 195 or 190, and then it would shut off. Well, now for some reason, it was turning on at like 190, and then the fan would struggle to get past like 182. But if it did get down to like 180 on like a downhill portion of the drive, the fan would shut off. So it essentially changed the range that the fan was turning on and off at. So I think that the sensor that controls the fan clutch has gone bad, which doesn't surprise me. The gauges went bad in the truck. All this stuff is, over 25 years old. So it's going to fail at some point. So I had to come up with a solution. So what I did is I went on the internet and tried to find a normally closed switch that opens at 205. And this is what I found. I come across this. I'll leave a link in the description for this. This has 1/2-inch NPT threads. However, the OEM sensor has 3/8 NPT threads, if I remember correctly. So we may have to find a different spot to put this in. I may have to go to the hardware store and get an adapter to make it work. But I'm going to do my best. Well, let me take that back. I am going to get this installed somehow. If I have to install this in the engine block somewhere, I'll do it. I want this system to work correctly. It's aggravating driving down the freeway with the fan stuck on at like 182, 183, and it just hovers there and doesn't really do anything. My other fear, and this is the worst fear, is that I have the beginning stages of a exhaust to coolant leak on my head gasket. Now, why do I say that? Well, I've had this before on other vehicles, namely Subarus. And it kind of starts out the same way. However, the deal with the switch kind of boggles my mind a little bit because it was working fine before, and maybe just out of the blue it started to destroy itself and go to different parameters. But I'm going to do my best to fix this. I may or may not do a driving video. I'm going to have to drive pretty far to get to a steep hill to get the fans to engage today because it's 70 degrees out and raining, so it's not the same conditions as it was that day. But nonetheless, I want to get this fixed. I want to get it working correctly again, and this might be a fix for anybody else that has a similar problem in the future. I won't be doing any time lapse. I'll kind of just go through step by step on what I did after I finished the install. But anyways, let's get started. So I did have to run to the hardware store and grab a couple of fittings. I originally bought this one off Amazon. But as you can see, if I want to reduce this down to 3/8, that's not going to work. I did pick up a straight coupling in the store, but it was the same scenario. It would have ran into the threads on a reducer or a coupling. So I wasn't able to do that. However, this 90 is deep enough that the sensor will thread into it. Like so. And it's still got room to go even further. Plus, it'll be surrounded in coolant if you keep it facing up when you install it. So the sensor in question, if I recall correctly, is that guy right there. So I'm not going to drain any coolant. I'm just going to do a hot swap, but I got to put that other one together first. And then I need the wires off of that one to create the pigtail for the new sensor. So I'll get this assembled, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I got the sensor assembled with the wires on it from the original sensor. Now I just got to go in there and swap it out. I should lose a little bit of coolant, but not too much. Here we go. Here's the old sensor. Obviously you can't tell that it's broken or anything's wrong with it. I was able to get the new one in without losing too much coolant. And I oriented it in a direction that I thought that the coolant would flow to it and out of it. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference having that 90 in there, but I guess we'll find out. I suppose we should go for a drive. Okay guys, sorry for the crappy camera angle, but I'm using my phone to film this. I've been driving for about 25, maybe 30 miles. It's about 52 degrees outside today, so the conditions aren't the same as they were before when I was having this issue. There were a couple smaller hills, and I got up to like maybe 195, and the fan has not turned on yet. The coolant temperature is hovering between 182 and 195 the whole drive here. But we're getting ready to go up a really steep, like 7% grade hill that lasts for about a mile. So this will be the test to see if this coolant temperature switch turns on at 205. You got to keep in mind I have a capillary gauge on this now. I don't have the original electronic gauges anymore, and the capillary gauge is a lot more accurate than the original one. We're going to have a little stoplight here, and then we're going to be heading up this hill. I'm feeling a lot better. That I'm pretty confident it's not a head gasket issue, which I'm kind of relieved. But we'll definitely find out when we go up this hill if this coolant switch actually works on these trucks. So we're at about 185 coolant temperature now. We're right at the bottom of the hill, and we're getting ready to head up this hill here. We're heading up the hill right now. I've got the accelerator pegged. We're at about 189. Might not even make it to 205. Struggling to get to the higher temperature. 197, 198, 199. Come on, Abel. 200. I don't think we're going to make it to 205. 201. 202. Should be coming on any minute now, but we're at the top of the hill now. might not make it. 204. Come on, Abel. I don't think he's going to turn on. That's the biggest hill I know of in this area. And now we're going downhill again. Letting off the accelerator. Temp is coming back down. We're about 201. 200. I don't know how else to test it aside from holding a lighter up to it, seeing if the contact's open. But yeah, I'll have to update you guys on a future video, maybe the Adventures with Abel video or something like that, but there's no other way that I know of how to test this. So if you guys like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. You're going to want to stay tuned. You never know what's coming up on this channel. But other than that, I hope you guys are staying safe, taking care of each other, and as always, I will catch you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.